when you get me, you could get up on me, man, like probably to about waist high, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so it'll be me. So then when I get this back from you, I could chop it up and send it to him.
Okay.
So we don't see a lot of these heads, you know what I'm saying?
You got it.
All right, first off, hey, I appreciate everybody being here.
Looking good, man.
Shit, man. It's not playing
It's football season now.
Playoffs.
Now it's time to come down a little bit. What you weighing, man?
Not too much.
Bro, I'm down.
Stressing, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm down to about 30, bro. I was 270 something. Swole, dog. Now I was like, I can't keep up with it, man. It's too hard, man. Walk around. Yeah. So.
It's scary, though.
All right, won a national championship, right?
Yep.
Won a national championship, played in the league for a couple of years with the Colts, and now he runs a very successful nonprofit organization down in Columbus. All right, he's very proud to be an alum here. He's very proud of this community. Otherwise, he would not come back and give back to you guys. All right, but the thing I want you guys to understand is Roy didn't just compete on the field or on the court. Okay, he also competed in the classroom. All right, he graduated with a 3.85 GPA. And it's part of the reason that all these football coaches were coming to the school to recruit him. Because when you have the student piece and the athlete piece, it makes you a lot more valuable to these colleges. Okay? They don't have to worry about you, all right, when you're at college. They know you're going to go to class, all those things. So he got it done in the classroom and on the field, all right, and now he's getting it done and giving back to the community in Columbus. So give it up for Roy Hall, all right, brush your lungs.
Hey, if y'all behind this pole and can't see me, man, I'm gonna have to ask y'all to like get to a table because I'm gonna be standing like right in the middle. So I apologize, fellas, for being in that middle. I just can't see y'all. Like if I can't see your face, just move to the sides just for a little bit. We're not gonna be here long, but we're gonna be here long enough that hopefully y'all can take something with you. I'll just sit right here since y'all in the comfortable seats. We good? All right, let's dive right in. Again, my name is Coach Roy Hall, Brush alum. I'm going to be here for the duration of this year. We've been running a program, Student Athlete Leadership Training. We call it SALT, but it's also our smaller group. It's called our ARC Elite Training. And we meet once a week, and it'll be on Wednesdays. And so we got a small group and had the opportunity to connect with you guys every single week. We've been doing this program for about 4 years now. So we're not any strangers to you all. So we're excited to be in the building today. I'm excited to be here as well. What's interesting is just last Friday, one of the things I do every single Friday, I still work with the Ohio State football team. I'm in there every Friday during the season and out of season working with them from a motivational standpoint, on a spiritual standpoint. And they sit down just like you all are doing right now. You all are in high school. We got some guys that's going to go first round next year, be millionaires. And it's the same conversation, it's the same narrative in regards to doing what you got to do to get to where you want to be. So whether it's teachers or coaches, no matter what's going on, this ain't got nothing to do with them. This is all about where do you want to be in your life and where you want to go, right? So based on your actions day to day is going to dictate where you're going to go. Has nothing to do with what coach you get, what teacher you get. It's all about where you want to go and where you want to see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years. What college you want to go to, right? In 7 years, which type of house do you want to be buying for your mom or your dad, right? Do you want to be in position as a student athlete to go to the Olympics? Like, that's on you. That has nothing to do with your environment, right? You get to make the decision to be great. And so it's a couple of people I'm going to introduce you to, or somebody that I'm going to introduce you to in a little bit. But I want to start here before we go any further. I gave you guys some sheets. Hopefully everybody got them. If not, you can take a screenshot of it and fill it in and print it out later. You can get it from Coach Dukes. But I grew up at 4108 Princeton Boulevard, right? 4108 Princeton, right at the intersection of Princeton and Greenville. That's where I was. As a matter of fact, if I'm being 1,000% honest, that particular area of South Euclid is predominantly black, and that's where they were pushing all the people from Heights and East Cleveland and in inner city Cleveland. If you was coming from Glenville, Collinwood, if you was coming from any area that was in the SEL school district, they early on in the early 90s, they were pushing everybody to that pocket. As a matter of fact, before they closed down the elementary school, it was Loudon Elementary School. The elementary school at the time when it closed down was 99.9% African Americans, black. Right, so they pushed all us down there before, like when this whole thing was getting started. When I went to Brush, I'm telling you this for a reason. When I went to Brush, it was probably about 20% black, right? And I say that it was a good thing, actually, because it showed me how to interact with people that didn't look like me, right? It cut through all the narratives that people was feeding me. And so that particular pocket showed me how to navigate in life. Because right now they feeding you this division stuff that's getting you, hey, you got black, you got white. Here's the thing. We need each other, number one, to grow. We need each other, number two, to win championships. We need each other, number three, to go to college and to excel. My high school football coach was black, but my high school basketball coach was white. My head coach in college was white, right? It don't even matter, right? It don't matter where you come from. So we get rid of that real quick. Right? We got to interact with each other like we're trying to go to the next level. You help me, I help you. And that's what I learned at 4108 Princeton. But the other thing that happened to me down there, early on, I was 12 years old. I had just started lifting weights. My mom had split up with my dad when we used to live in Cleveland Heights, and we moved to South Euclid. Tried to get a fresh start. My mom had a boyfriend that was helping her and taking care of her and helping to take care of us. She was coming out of some trauma. My dad was a heroin addict. My dad had a crazy substance abuse challenge, and domestic violence was something that was often in my house. And we moved out of that situation from East Cleveland and moved to South Euclid. And this one particular day, at the time, you know, I was trying to get swole. I was trying to lift weights. And so we had this small little weight bench that my mom had bought me. It's probably only like $95. You can only pack it out from a bench press standpoint to 95 pounds. And that was heavy for me at the time. And I'm trying to get 2 or 3 reps on this thing, and I'm up there lifting weights. And I heard some rumbling going on downstairs. Now, my mom and her boyfriend used to argue all the time, but it never like escalated to the point where I was of concern. Raised voices, I was used to. But once the wall started shaking, now all of a sudden it was a problem. But I was getting swole, big dog. So I'm upstairs, like I already went through this with my dad, and I was just a little dude. Now I'm 12, bro, and at 12, I was 6'1", and I wore a size 14 shoe, and I was ready. I'm like, all right, let's get it. I'm up here lifting weights. I'm thinking I'm kind of swole. So I was waiting for something to pop off because I'm like, now I could be in position to take care of my mom. I wasn't in position to do that when I was 8 or 9 years old. But now at 12, right, I'm ready to go. So I'm sitting there, you know what I mean, and I'm waiting. And I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go down there because enough is enough. I started hearing him calling her the B word and all types of stuff popping out of his mouth. And so I get to the top of the steps, and as soon as I got to those first 3 steps to get to the landing, to get to the other 10 steps downstairs, as soon as I got there, I heard her scream my name, Roy! Now, obviously, she didn't sound like me, but you can understand what that sounded like as a grown woman screaming as loud as she possibly can. She yelled out my name. I hopped down the steps, and I promise you, I jumped down all 10 steps. I jumped down as soon as I hit the ground, boom, I might have fell. I popped back up. Adrenaline is rushing now. I look over, my mom's in the fetal position, curled up. She got her face covered up like this, and she's talking to me. She's like, it'll be okay. She said, it'll be okay. My mom got blood coming all the way down her shirt, all over her hands. Now, her boyfriend at the time, he had hit her in the face so hard it broke her nose and broke her jaw at the same time. I was at the top of the steps. Now, if I had reacted a little bit sooner when I heard the danger, when I saw or felt the need to go do something, when it was time for me to go and change the situation, I just hesitated. I was holding back for whatever reason. Maybe I was a little bit afraid. Maybe I was just trying to wait for the moment. But I was late. And I got down there and I held her hand and we called 911 and the police came and we got into that ambulance and I'm holding her hand and she's still telling me, like, it's going to be okay. And then she started thanking me. My mom started thanking me, like, thank you for being there. Thank you for not being afraid. Thank you for being my young big man. She said it'll be okay. She said everything will be okay. But when I heard my name called, all of a sudden, I snapped into action. Maybe I was a little bit afraid at the top of the stairs. I didn't know what I was going to do at 12. But when I heard my name called, I answered it. I answered it with my actions. Literally. I didn't stay upside and say, "How, Mom, what'd you say?" I jumped down some steps. I got over to her. I made sure I got my hands dirty in her blood and decided, hey, man, I'm going to stand up for her. And I looked him square in the face, man to man. I wasn't afraid no more. Yeah, he left and I didn't have to fight, but I was ready to do what I had to do to defend my mom at the time. Listen to what I'm saying. This is a call to you. When your name is called, will you answer that call? When the opportunity arises and it's time for you to answer the call, will you answer the call? Will you, when it's your time? When greatness is yelling your name, will you answer the call? Or will you stand at the top of the steps? Or will you just sit back and wait? Or will you just wait for somebody to give it to you? I'm talking to you from a grown man that loves you because y'all alumni, and it don't matter whether you male or female. It don't matter whether you play boys basketball or girls basketball, you on the swim team or golfing or whatever you're doing. The same rules apply. Academically, socially, and athletically, will you answer the call? Because your name is getting called all the time. As a matter of fact, some of y'all standout athletes and you see your name on the social media and in the highlights all the time. You used to people saying your name and you still not answering the call. You still not performing to your maximum capabilities. You still not doing everything you possibly can be. You still not the best version of yourself yet. And you see your name in the lights. You got to answer the call. You got to show up and you got to get dirty sometimes. You got to be uncomfortable. You got to be, listen to this. I answered the call because my name was called because somebody else needed me. That's how you step your game up. How are you helping the people around you? What are you doing for your teammates? What are you doing for your classmates? How are you going to have a 3.85 GPA and somebody on your squad barely academically eligible and you ain't saying nothing? You're not answering the call. How you going to say you want to play D1 ball, but you're not studying and playing or studying like you want to play D1 ball? I know cats that went D1, got into the classroom, couldn't read a book, and they failed out because they didn't do what they were supposed to do here. You need a help in the subject. You need a help at home, something going on with your mom, your dad, your family, and you dealing with something on the inside, mental health-wise, you need to step up and say, you know what? I need some help. Because when you don't say I need some help, that's basically not answering the call. You got to answer the call and step up. The only reason why I'm here today is because of my mom. I'm telling you that. This is why I do this. She is literally the only person I want to make proud every day. The only one. That's why I went to Ohio State. That's why I fought through injuries and went to the NFL. That's why I do what I do. That's why I'm paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to do this. Trust me, I'm making NFL money right now speaking. Why? Because my mindset is the same. I'm trying to help people. And as long as you're trying to help people, you're going to get paid for it. You're going to benefit from it. And that's why we're doing what we're doing here. No, this is on me. I'm coming here for you. This is for y'all. Right? Look at these sheets real quick. We got about 15 more minutes. 15 minutes. I'm going to do this in about 10. I'm going to do it in 10. And then I'm going to introduce my best friend. And then we're going to rock and roll and get up out of here. All right? So social messaging. Social messaging. Now listen to what I say here. When they had the bubble a year ago, when we shut down the whole country because of COVID, and the NBA players had all these names on the back of their jerseys, right now at Ohio State, they still got words like equality on the back of their helmets. And so we started labeling and using all these terms that we never used before. And I started looking at this and dissecting it. And I was like, man, how can we use this to our advantage? How can we use this to our advantage? And so let me just dive right into it. It's a fill in the blank here. You can follow along. If you don't have a sheet, just look on with somebody else. But here's the first point. People are introduced to you by what's in front of them. They see you, right? People are introduced to you by what's in front of them, but they remember you by what you leave behind. Go ahead and write that in there, right? People are introduced to you by what's in front of them, but they remember you by what you leave behind. So this is a self-check. What are you leaving behind? Listen. I'll make it real for you. 157,000 people die every day on this earth. I don't know if you knew that. 157,000 people every day. 2 people on average pass away every second, including teenagers. So let's just say nothing's going to happen to you. Nothing's going to happen to you. But if it did, what would you leave behind? If you were gone tomorrow, what would people say about you? Would they be like, oh, he averaged 35 a game? No, nobody care about that. What would they be saying? They wouldn't care about your coaching record. What are you going to leave behind? Man, I'm gonna miss my big brother because he helped me with my homework all the time. I'm gonna miss my big sister because she always encouraged me to do better in school. I'm gonna miss my big cousin because he cooked for me because he gave me his food when I ain't had none. Like, what are you leaving behind? Okay? You are responsible for your first name. You're responsible for your first name. But you represent your last name. She said, ooh. Listen, you're responsible for your first name, but you represent your last name. That means your last name, you are representing your daddy or your mom or your whoever taking care of you, maybe a foster parent. I don't know whose last name you got. I know it came from somewhere, a grandparent. It's in your DNA. Listen, it's in your DNA to be great. You got to believe that. It's in your DNA to not be a loser. You got to know that. It's in your DNA to come out on top. You got to be able to draw from that. It's in your DNA to finish in first place. Man, you got to recognize that. You represent your last name. Period. Period. What's on your back, you represent that last name. Okay? Let's keep moving real quick. Real quick. This is just a little something I need you to do later. Take a look at your last 5 text messages. Take a look at your last 5 social media posts on Snap, all that. Wherever you at, TikTok, take a look at your last 5 conversations that you've had with people. Do those last 5 conversations represent your last name as best as you possibly can? Absolutely not. If we being 100, come on. Your last 5. Do your last 5 say greatness? Do your last 5 say, come on, do it say family? Do it say unity? Do it say hard work? Do it say I want to be number 1? Nah, probably not. Your last 5. Yo, listen to me. Your last 5 messages need to align with what you want for your life in everything. If you check your phone out, your last 5. What's on the back of your jersey? I got about, let me see, I probably got about 8 more minutes. Yep, 11. Here we go. What's on the back of your jersey? Okay, now I told you what they had on the back of their jersey. This is a quick lesson, just a quick one. This is just a little quick one, just a little quick one. All right, you're either on the left side or you're on the right side, okay? That first word, complainer, fill that in. Is that on the back of your jersey? When people think of you, do they think about the person that's always complaining? What I like to say is don't complain, contribute. If it's a problem, you should be a part of the solution. But you running your mouth and complaining back to your mom or your dad or whoever you talking bad about your coach. Come on now. Are you a complainer? Number 2, are you disrespectful? Number 3, are you arrogant? Number 4, are you jealous? Are you jealous of the people around you, your teammates? You mad that you're not getting to shine? You mad that they always talking about the football team, but they ain't never talking about the girls' volleyball team? Like, that's jealousy. And I'm not picking on those two groups. I'm just saying it don't matter whether they talking about you or not. What are you going to do to make a difference with your crew? Are you vengeful? Are you impatient? Is that on the back of your jersey? When the coaches are talking about you, when your parents or the people in the community and teachers are talking about you, do they bring up those words? Or are you on the right side? Are you helpful? Fill that in. Are you helpful? Are you an encourager? Do you help the people around you? Hey, it's going to be better. You're going to get better. Let's work together. Are you forgiving? Are you forgiving? Are you forgiving? Are you forgiving? Are you respectful? Are you selfless? And is your whole framework built on love? All right, built on love. Here, last but not least, let me get through this last part. Last year, they canceled a lot of stuff. And right now, they say we living in cancel culture. Right? Well, you can do something wrong and make one mistake, and they'll run you out of town. They'll shut you down for a while. You know, you see it mostly in entertainment, but you see it a lot in a lot of different spaces. And so last year they canceled the season. So a season could be a football season, a basketball season. A season could be when you're going through something hard, like it's a season, right? But this says cancel season, substantial reason. Substantial reason. In other words, it does not matter what's going wrong with me. My reason for doing what I'm doing is greater than whatever's going around me. So it doesn't matter how hard it's going to get. It doesn't matter how tough it is. Tough people don't last. Tough times don't last. Tough people do, right? So cancel season, substantial reason. Your platform is what you do, not who you are. Your platform, like as an athlete, as a student athlete, as a student and an athlete, you can have a 4.0 GPA, but that's still not who you really are. Like, just because you got like your academics together don't mean you're a great person, right? We're talking about character, okay? But at the end of it, here's the thing. Don't let cancel your competitiveness, all right? So when things go wrong, don't let it shut down you being competitive. That means you got to go hard, and it's your spot to get. Nobody going to give it to you. No matter what it is, your grades, they're not going to give it to you. That scholarship, they're not going to give it to you. The attention you want, they're not just going to give it to you. You want your parents just to show up at a game and they ain't showing up, it might not happen. But don't let cancel your competitiveness. You still got to go hard because it's about you. Now listen, even if you don't have support, you still represent your last name. So somebody got to take your last name to the next level. You can't depend on your people to do it. You're supposed to go further than your parents. Don't let cancel your can, C-A-N. I can do it. I can be the first in my family to graduate from a major college or university. I can be the first person in my family to graduate with a 4.0. I can be a starter. I can raise my GPA. I can listen to a speaker without being interrupted with the people next to me. I can walk away from a friendship that's been holding me back. I can. People have been telling you can't your whole life. So don't let cancel your can. And don't let cancel your commitment. Your commitment. All right? Now, it's been somebody that's been committed to seeing me be great since I was 14 years old. Since I was a freshman here, it's been somebody committed to seeing me be great. Now, that's really strange because usually, especially in high school, everybody wants to be great themselves. But this particular individual has been committed to me being great since I can remember. I mean, literally, he knew I was going to be a monster before I did. Like, he knew I was going to the NFL before I did. He believed that I was going to go to the NFL more than I did. He kept me on the right path. He picked me up to take me to practice. He was the one that was cutting my hair. It's probably why I ain't got no hair right now. He messed me up early on. My hairline was down here at one point. He started cutting me, and it just started. But listen, but he had my back. He was 2 years older than me, a junior when I was a freshman, when I started playing varsity football, when I started starting on varsity football as a freshman. And he had my back ever since, whatever I needed. I mean, we were so tight, like I didn't really have a lot, right? And his parents, our mom and dad, still married today. They did their thing, which he was able to have a couple things, even from like financial stuff, just clothes and stuff like that. He was a little bit older. Like, he would give me his clothes, like, and I would wear his stuff in school when people knew. And I ain't care, because that was big bro. Like, that's what we did. He took care of me and looked out for me, right? And his senior year, he was set up. He played running back, starting running back for us. 6 foot, was probably about 220, 225 at the time. Was a monster, fast, explosive, right? Was getting recruited by some D1 schools and just out there shining. And then one day we was playing at John Carroll, had a game versus Stowe. He took a routine hit, fall hit his head. Next thing you know, he getting life flighted. Had to have emergency brain surgery, cut a piece of his head out like that. Recovered from that, had to learn how to walk again, had to learn how to talk again, had to learn how to be him again. But somehow, some way, by the grace of God, man, he just like emerged even stronger and continued to support and showed up at all my games. Still my biggest advocate to this day. My man even came to the Ohio State game when we was winning national championships and stole a piece of grass. It meant so much to him, and he still got it. That's before we went to Turk. But my best friend in the world is here today. And he's going to be rocking with us throughout the year as one of our guest coaches in our ARC Elite Leadership Program. He went on to open up his own barbershop. He's a flourishing Christian hip-hop artist, one of the most talented individuals that I know, great family man, and somebody that I'll always look up to. I'm going to just give him about 60 seconds, but give him a round of applause, Mr. Jamal Boyd. Yep.
Art, it's a pleasure to be here. Like my brother Roy said, we're alumni of this school. I graduated in 2000. I can remember getting up 5 o'clock in the morning, man, coming to this school. We didn't have hardly as much facility and equipment as you guys had. And, me and this brother used to grind it out, man. And he's a product of that grind. So, I'm excited about being here with you guys this school year. I'm hearing a lot of great things about the athletic program. Want to hear some better things about the academic program going on right here, because you guys have all the resources that you need to be successful. So I'm not going to take up much time, but I'm going to see you guys throughout the course of the year. Thanks a lot to the coaching staff and everybody who's allowed us to come out here and speak to you guys today. And, just like everything Roy said, utilize that time when your name is called, all right? Pleasure seeing you guys today. And good seeing you all here.
All right, we literally got about 60 seconds. If the question is, hey, man, if we in the program, is it just y'all coaching? Yeah, it'll be me, Coach Boyd, also Coach Dukes. But then we'll also have a lot of guest speakers who are former women who were athletes here, women that were athletes here and former athletes here that'll come and speak to us as well. So we'll make sure we engage across the board. This will be your guys' program, and so we'll do a good job at facilitating and helping. Again, when your name is called, all right, you got to answer that one. That's on you. Like tonight, when you get to the crib, just take a look at your stuff. Hey, look at your academics. Look at where you are socially. Look at where you are from a mental health standpoint. Look at where you are athletically. Are you where you want to be? And if not, ask yourself why, and then start to make the changes to get there. All right? I appreciate you guys. I'm going to turn it back over to Coach Dukes, and I'll see you guys around. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I like that a lot.
Appreciate you, bro.